How's everyone doing? Today I'll be reviewing Iron Man 3, and if you've seen Iron Man 3, definitely let me know what you think of it and which one of the Iron Man films is your favorite. Now, this third installment of the Iron Man franchise is directed by Shane Black, who also directed Robert Downey Jr. in his directorial debut, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And he's also well known for writing action films such as Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3, The Last Action Hero, Long Kiss Goodnight, and my all-time favorite action film, The Last Boy Scout. And he also co-wrote The Monster Squad, which was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, and Jon Favreau all reprised their roles, and Don Cheadle is back as War Machine, which is renamed as the Iron Patriot with a red, white, and blue paint job. And for the villains, you have Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin and Guy Pearce as Aldrich Killian, both fantastic actors, and I'll always remember Ben Kingsley as Gandhi and Guy Pearce from Christopher Nolan's Memento. Now, in this installment of the Iron Man franchise, Tony Stark is a workaholic, and he's suffering from anxiety attacks and insomnia, and he's just working all the time, and it's really taking a toll on his body and mental health. And the villain, the Mandarin, seems to be out to destroy the Western world and all that it stands for, as well as Tony Stark, his home, and his family. And the Mandarin and his henchmen have the power of the extremist virus, which gives them the ability to regrow limbs, makes them super strong and essentially super soldiers, but also makes them very volatile. With an attack on Tony Stark's home and family, he's at his lowest point and seemingly all alone, and he's out to find out who's responsible for this and to take them down while protecting those closest to him. Now, throughout the whole Iron Man franchise, there's a lot of humor, and this one is no different. I really like the humor in some parts, but it comes to a point where it gets a little bit much, and it goes overboard, and it gets really campy. And there's a lot of things that could be cut out of this film, a lot of things that just seem kind of offbeat and out of place, like the big stuffed bunny rabbit. It kind of looks like a booby bunny. Tony Stark gives Pepper Potts this big, giant bunny rabbit, stuffed bunny rabbit, and it kind of looks like it has boobs. I guess it's short arms, but the way that it's placed, it looks like it has boobs. It looks like a booby bunny, and that just seemed really weird. And they focused in on that several times throughout the movie, and I'm just like, why do you keep focusing in on this big, giant, stuffed, bunny rabbit? Is it some kind of like inside joke with the cast and crew? It just seemed really out of place. And the Mandarin's henchmen with the extremist virus kind of makes them seem like they have like a Terminator vibe. I was waiting for them to kind of melt down and then come back. It seemed to have that effect, really. And there's lots of Avengers references all throughout the movie, as if that would somehow elevate this movie. It doesn't. There's tons of over-the-top, super cliche moments in this movie. At one point while they were in the dungeon, I was waiting for the $1 million quote. I was really expecting that to be thrown out there. The script just didn't feel right for this franchise. I really hated what they did with the Mandarin character, the whole twist. I just thought that was awful, unnecessary, but it kind of is a little bit fitting for today's society. They focused a lot more on Tony Stark and his personal demons and everything that he's going through, his relationship, all his anxiety and stuff like that. And it really seemed like Iron Man was barely on screen. It felt like he was on screen for maybe 10 minutes of the film, that Tony Stark was actually in the Iron Man suit himself. It felt like just a very small percentage of the film. And of course there's some new technology and gadgets that really surprise the audience, and there's great visuals, which is to be expected from an Iron Man movie. There's a really cool suit role reversal scene in here that I thought was really unique. Ben Kingsley, he's always awesome. The humor for his role just seemed a little bit weird, but it still kind of worked. Because Ben Kingsley just brings that element of authenticity to every role that he's in. But I definitely felt he was misused and underutilized big time. And I felt the same way for Don Cheadle. I felt like he was really underutilized in here as well. He was in the very beginning of the movie for like a minute, and then you didn't see him again for like another hour. And then he really wasn't in his Iron Patriot uniform suit very much either. Both Robert Downey Jr. and Don Cheadle were barely in their respective suits, and it kind of felt out of place. Overall, I felt Iron Man 3 was clumsy. I thought it was dialogue heavy for an action comic book movie. Even some of the action sequences during the middle just kind of felt like it dragged on. There's a lot of drama elements that just felt unnecessary. Again, the whole script felt very lumbering. The plot was cluttered, there was poor pacing all throughout the film, and for a while everything felt disconnected. There's plenty from this movie that could have been edited out, especially some of the gags and dialogue. Again, with the booby bunny, the bunny that just looked really out of place, and even if those were his short little arms, it still felt really weird and just not suited for this movie. Just they focused in on it a couple times, and it was just like, why? Why do you keep doing that? And then there's another guy later on in the news van who has the Tony Stark tattoo. That really seemed unnecessary and out of place again too. Again, so much of this movie could have been edited out, and it could have worked for a much better fluid pace for the film. I will say the last 20 minutes of the film were pretty epic, and even though there was a part in the ending that I didn't really like, I still thought the ending was top-notch, but it didn't make up for the rest of the film. If only the rest of the film were on the same level as the last 20 minutes were, it would be a great film. However, that's not the case here at all. Best effects of the series by far, however, the humor went too far and it went into the camp level. Overall, Iron Man 3 is slightly above average. It's easily the worst Iron Man movie of the franchise. While there were some fantastic moments towards the end of the movie, especially with some of the top-notch visual effects and great acting, it is incredibly flawed on so many levels, a definite step backwards, and a missed opportunity. Iron Man 3 will be a huge blockbuster, it will break lots of records, but it's a movie I never plan to see again. I give Iron Man 3 a generous 6 out of 10 stars. And if you've seen Iron Man 3, definitely let me know what you think of it, and let me know which one of the Iron Man movies is your favorite. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.